Some yellow cards, a couple issued to both clubs. But other than that, a back and forth championship final so far, as we are just 1 minute into this second half of this championship final. If it stays at 0-0, or even if both teams score 1-1, as Croatia has a chance in the box now. Ball back in, shot, scores! Oscar Cordon! This game is over from Warrior Field in Waterloo, Ontario, the home of the University of Waterloo Warriors. The final whistle has been blown, and Toronto, Croatia are your 2015 Canadian Soccer League First Division champions.
Turned over though, another chance. Whiteman, the delivery, and it's a cracking strike from the Vaughn striker, and he equalizes here in the 39th minute. The leading scorer, Jarek Whiteman, adds to his tally, and that's number 18, and equalizes this match. It's 1-1. Amato, up. Can Whiteman counter? He can. Whiteman, he wins the ball. He's on a breakaway here. The strike! Into the corner it goes, and the Azzurri's leading scorer gets the equalizer once again, and it's all tied up 2-2 in the 57th minute. Jarek Whiteman with number 19 on the season and his second of the match. The Chiara now with the delivery, back post, the header back in. The Azzurri with the chance. Into the box and in the back of the net! And it's number 3 for Jarek Whiteman. The hat-trick converted, 3-2 in the 60th minute.
You're watching and listening to Mamma Mia! This is Fire Talk, Footy Edition with Nicholas Fiore.
Welcome back, everybody, to Mamma Mia! This is Fire Talk. I'm your host, Nicholas Fiore, and today we are on episode number 51 and Footy Edition number 12 of the show. And joining me on this edition of the show is Niko Giantsopoulos from York United FC, number 1 goalkeeper for the squad. Niko, thanks for joining. I appreciate it.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for having me, Nick.
Absolutely. Listen, you're from here. You're a Markham boy, just a year older than myself. But you took a little bit of a route to get back home, and we're gonna get into that. And we're gonna get into a lot of things. But I do just want to say once again, thanks for coming on. I know, preseason starting with CPL soon and the training camps and all that stuff. So appreciate you giving me the time.
No, of course. I'm excited for the upcoming season. So doing the interviews before kind of gets me all excited again. So it's good.
Exactly, right? Gets you pumped up. Listen, everyone, this episode is sponsored by The Bottom Line, the restaurant downtown Toronto, Hockey Hall of Fame, official restaurant of the Hockey Hall of Fame on 22 Front Street. Let's get into it. Obviously, Niko, you started here, obviously, in your youth days with Unionville, Pickering, Ajax, all the soccer clubs here within Ontario, of course. How do you think, your youth maybe got that experience or got that, training, especially as a goalkeeper, to propel you into, the higher levels eventually, I guess, high school, and then obviously your collegiate career?
Yeah, I mean, I would say all clubs, the 3 that you mentioned there, Unionville, Pickering, and Ajax, they all played significant roles in like my development of the game. With Unionville, this is my first club, so I started with them when I was 7 years old. It just made me love playing soccer. I had some of my best friends on that team, so it was just something I just really enjoyed going to. So that's a big role that they played. And then ended up moving to Pickering, and it kind of started, it was a good introduction. That was like when the OYSL days were a thing. So it was my first year in OYSL, and I got to play with them. So it started, being more competitive. So they played a significant role. And then I moved over to Ajax after 2 years at Pickering, and that's when I was first kind of introduced to playing soccer for the next step, which at that time we were focusing on going to school in the States and maybe getting scholarships and playing college ball. So then they kind of opened up that, and that's really the moment where I had a great coach under Dario Gasparato. and like he was really good for us, and our team was very competitive, and because we now had a goal to achieve, that was probably the first time that I took my soccer more seriously. I know that sounds a bit crazy, but up until that point, I was just playing because I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed playing soccer. It was who I was and stuff like that. But once I got on that Ajax team, it started making me think of the next level, and I didn't really think about playing pro at that time. The next level for me, the one that made sense, was playing college ball. So then that's kind of how my training, my mindset changed at that point. So they all played three significant roles, but getting to the next level, what really prepared me the most was those 2 years playing at Ajax.
You then moved on to, college in NCAA Division III, Adrian Bulldogs for 2012 to 2013, then the Calvin Knights from 2014, 2015, 35 apps with Adrian, and then with Calvin, 47 appearances. So a lot of games, right? A lot of games in college, and a lot of experience. I would guess that's the ideal way to put it. Why was there any other offers or like options, I should say, or why the D3 route, and what did you learn from those two colleges?
Yeah, it's a great question. To be honest, no, there weren't many offers that were coming my way when I was playing for Ajax and, my grade 11, 12 year. My whole team was kind of getting great exposure. Majority of my team ended up going Division One. But for whatever reason it was, Division One offers weren't coming my way. But because that mindset changed to playing at the next level, I knew I wanted to play at the next level. So it was just a matter of who was going to take me. And then the Adrian coaches kind of came out of nowhere. They reached out to me, and we had a few conversations, and I really wanted to play for that coach. His name was Chris Lefevre. And as a player, especially when you're younger, you just want to go somewhere that you feel wanted. And he was bringing in a goalkeeper coach that, had experience playing at Division One level. So I knew I could learn something from there. And I was just like, you know what, I'm going to go there first. It wasn't until I was 2 years there that I had success. I got tons of games, like you said, and then now Division One schools. I had plenty of options to play Division One. But then again, I had a great conversation with the Calvin College coach. I literally was just speaking to him this morning. So that's how close our connection still is. I had a few conversations with him, and again, I wanted to play for him. I wanted to go to that school. I wasn't really thinking at that point like Division One, because at that point my mindset now switched. I need to make it to the next step, and that was a professional game. So I honestly just wanted to go where I felt like I could get the most game time. I could continue getting better as a goalkeeper and set myself up to play at the next level. And I thought, even though it's Division III, I'm going to get, like you said, another 40 games in my belt. Maybe we could win a national championship, which will look good. But I'm playing every single game. I'm under a great coach. I'm only going to get better.
Absolutely. I wanted to ask, is it because of the connection, like you said? Because why the transfer from one school to the next?
Yeah, the coaches, Chris Lefevre and Paul Gilbert, were the coaches at Adrian, and they ended up getting let go of their jobs. And I would have, again, I had no intentions of really leaving when I was there, because I was enjoying my time. But then when they left, I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna. I went there to play for those coaches. So as soon as they were gone, that's when I went into the transfer portal and just started reaching out. And that's when, Calvin came up.
Absolutely. And then after, obviously, your college, you got the experience, you got the time. And as a Canadian kid, I guess really the CPL wasn't there then, right? When it was time to get to the next level, the CPL came in a few years later, but then you found the route to Australia, second tier in Australia with a few different teams, Davenport City, Broadmeadow Magic. And I think the Launceston City, I think I said it right. I don't know.
That's good enough.
Launceston, there you go. And then obviously you came back to Canada. But why why Australia? Because a lot of other players sometimes go to, I'm not gonna say the more popular countries, but even if it's like a Division III over there, but you went to Australia. Was it a connection based thing, and let's see the experience, or did these teams kind of come in, scout you out? Because you got 21 apps with Davenport, you got 19 with Broadmeadow, and you got 21 as well with Launceston. So you had that playing time within the Australian ranks.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of been the story of my career, really. I mean, similar to how college, like I just needed an opportunity to play in college, didn't care where, and that came there. And then at the end of my college career, an agent, Sanford Carabin, he's actually well known in the GTA area. He's been involved forever. He kind of did a bit of agent work as well, and he reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to continue playing. I said yeah, and he said okay, he's gonna send it out to his connections that he had. And then it wasn't Devonport got back, they saw my video and they were like, hey, like we had another goalkeeper in mind, but it kind of fell through, and like we need a goalkeeper ASAP, like we'll sign Niko right away. So he gave me a call, said, hey, there's an offer there. And you're right, I viewed it as more like an opportunity to travel, continue playing in the thing, but I'm like, this is my shot. If I could have success, I'll just have success, and then I'll keep going. And then, I mean, again, so it was kind of like luck to get there. And then I had an amazing year, and that kind of really propelled my career. Because if I didn't have that really a good first year, then who knows what would have happened. Again, you know, some players get to that level and just kind of crash and burn, but I was able to continue my trajectory up, I guess.
Absolutely. And then, you know, but with the Launceston City in 2018, you're a vice captain. You started all 21 games. As a vice captain, you know, there has to be a voice. There has to be a leader. And how did you, you know, accept or appreciate that leadership role, even as the vice?
Yeah, no, I accepted it. There was an interesting dynamic with that club because they were completely restructuring how they wanted to do things and how they want to run the club. So they brought in, you know, bigger players for that league. So the captain was actually a player I played with in Devonport the first year. So they really brought in us two to kind of change the dynamic and kind of, I guess, bring that Devonport way of doing things to the club.
Yeah.
So it's something I knew was their mindset when they offered me the deal. So I was excited for it, and it was something new. So I was, it didn't really think twice about it. I'm like, I knew I wanted a role like this. I played in Australia for 3 years. Like you said, I had so many games now. So to come back and have my, I guess, last year there as like more of a leadership role, I was excited for it. It was just something different, and it was good.
We're going to touch upon, you know, coming back to Canada, but beforehand, you know, I want to touch upon maybe the hard mindset of maybe being a backup or not getting that playing time as a goalie, because I've been a goalkeeper for years now, played all up my youth ranks, played League One with Aurora, then with Pro Stars, and sometimes there's a backup role and then you start, or a backup role, you start, and you got to try to find that groove, right? Yeah. For you, you know, you maybe didn't have that start at the beginning, but then, you know, you picked it up and you got that. How hard mentally, the mindset as a goalkeeper, because I know a little bit of it, but not obviously at the pro ranks, of course, but to you know, stay sharp or stay mentally focused, that if you're a backup, keep on working your tail off and you could become a starter or a consistent starter in almost every team that you're with.
Yeah, I mean, everyone always asks me this kind of question, like it's so mentally tough and stuff like that. I think in those moments, like you said, when I went to Calgary, I was the number 2. That's how it was. That was my role on that team. How I was able to, I guess, not really be bothered by that is I go back to my roots, and I just love playing soccer. Like it's in me. I love being a goalkeeper. I love being a part of the team. I love the boys. So I get enjoyment in that sense. From like a professional career standpoint, like what I'm thinking in those moments is like, okay, like I'm going to be a backup, let's just say for this year. I'm going to just go in the shadows and just work my ass off and see what improvements I can do. Like, especially as a backup, like you could like work harder in the gym. You could stay longer. You could get extra reps because you're not saving your energy for the game for the most part, right? So that's kind of the mentality I did. And I think the rewarding part is I was seeing like I was getting better, you know, like quite significantly throughout that first year. So mentally, it wasn't that tough. I was seeing rewards. I knew if I, you know, the path that got me to really where I am now is just keep my head down, work hard, not, just be a good teammate and things will, work out. So that's kind of been my mentality since I started playing soccer. So, being a backup, it's not what I wanted, but I could also continue to get better. And really, I knew when I get my opportunity, whatever that may be, I know I'm prepared to take it. Whether it happens or not, who knows? No one can guarantee that, but I know I've done the hard work up to this point to do it. So, mentally, thank God I love soccer. So I guess I didn't really struggle with it, because if I didn't like soccer, I'd probably be pretty miserable.
I asked that question because I had a similar route. Like I graduated. I went through the Aurora system, youth, and being a starter, all 1995 age group starter, and then you hit League One, and Jimmy Brennan was my coach. Your former coach, and Jim Brennan was my coach, and how the world works, and basically said, no, you're not a starter anymore, right? So, but I stuck it out, and I went to every practice, every game, and just worked my tail off, right? So that's why I want to ask that question, because now I coach youth soccer in Calvary, under 10 boys, and I got a couple of goalies, and you got to give them playing time at that age. Don't get it twisted. I understand, but there's obviously the starter in the back, or who you want to play more, right? And it's good to hear that you just got to work. You got to work, and you got to keep on going, because no matter what age, that sometimes that backup will become better than that starter, because the complacent is not there, right? Maybe from a starter. So that's good to hear from a pro goalkeeper in yourself. This question might come hand in hand, but the mental game of a goalkeeper, not just being a backup, but maybe you already touched upon it a little bit, but I know for me, I have superstitions galore. What's the mental side of the game for Niko Giantsopoulos?
No superstitions on that side. Again, I think
Wow.
The mental side of my game is, I don't know, if you could put it on like an aspect on FIFA, I would say that's like the strongest part of my game. I think my path has made me become mentally strong, and I think it's extremely beneficial for this position in general. What was the question? Say it again. Like, what were you trying to?
The mental side of the game, right? Like, no superstitions for you, but as a goalkeeper, there is, I feel like goalkeepers are crazy, especially hockey and soccer. Like, we're operated different. We'll take the ball right to the face and we'll have no issues, So that's where I was leading towards,
No, of course, and no superstitions for me. I just like to kind of be very present on like a game day and stuff like that. Like, really take everything in. I want to feel like excited, but I need to have those like nerves. I need to make sure I'm like ready and I'm focused. I think when I first started, I was a lot more superstitious. Like, you have superstitions from when you're young. And I have found that as each year goes by, I've like dropped superstitions. And now I'm at the point where it's kind of like, just like be ready. Like, what that feels like. And if you do all the simple things right, then you're going to feel ready for the game. So that's now what it's changed to.
Absolutely. I know goalies are crazy. Keepers are crazy. That's all I know. That's all I
In no means am I saying that I am not crazy. I'm just saying that I don't have superstition.
Absolutely. The keeper routines too. I'm telling you, they're different. They're different than a player. That's for damn sure. But
players will never understand that.
Never. That is for sure. I just want to touch upon moving back home, right? Moving back to Canada. Obviously, home is really with York, but back to Canada with, Calvary in 2019, 2020 season. Why the move back home? Was it time? Was it beginning of CPL and you wanted to be involved closer to home, or just, I guess those are the opinions, but what was your train of thought of leaving pro ranks in Australia and come back to Canada?
Well, it's funny because every single deal I signed in Australia was a 1 year. That's it. There wasn't like any options or stuff like that. For the reason of every single off season after one season in Australia, I wanted to come back and get into the North American soccer system. That's kind of how I started getting into the professional game, like in college, being in America and stuff like that. So those options were like USL, NASL was still around at that time, and I guess MLS. But I was very much eyeing the USL market. CPL, like you said, wasn't a thing still. This was in 2016. So every single off season, I would be going to trials in North America, and I just couldn't latch on to something. And then because I did well in the Australian market, I knew I could always sign back in Australia because I had offers there. So I would finish the season in Devonport, trial, couldn't make it, go back to Australia, play in Australia, trial in the off season, didn't make it, go back to Australia. Finally, that off season at the end of my third year was when CPL was starting. So now that just opened up. There were 7 clubs at the time. So the way I was viewing it is there's now 14 new job openings to be a goalkeeper in the professional game. I was still contacting clubs in the USL as well, because I didn't just keep myself just now on CPL. Like, I just wanted to get back to the North American market. And then I was able to latch on Calvary FC through a connection with Sergio Camargo, a good friend of mine. Got to be in front of the coach's eyes. And again, so as soon as they were offering me a contract, it's not like there was any other concrete offers. I'm like, I want to get back to the North American market. It's not Toronto, but hey, it's Calgary. I'm out there with a good buddy of mine. So again, excited to be back in Canada. And that was 8 years being away, or I guess 7 years from not really living in Canada at all, because I didn't really spend much time at all. So it was good just to get back and start sharing my career with my friends and family.
Nico was a little homesick, eh? No.
Cool.
I'm kidding.
I would have been begging York 9 to give me a contract. But hey, Canada's home. I always view myself as a Canadian. I'm a proud Canadian. When Canada says they're going to have the professional league, of course, I want to be a part of that. It's something that I just felt like I wanted to do. It just felt
Absolutely.
right.
No, absolutely. I'm just kidding.
Oh.
Listen, and then obviously now, moving on, the following year, 2021, with York United FC, formerly known as York 9. I got my York 9 scarf that Anthony Totera gave me a few years ago. He said he was going to get me a new one though now, so I got to get a new York United one. With coming back home, I've spoken to a few guys. I had Jonathan Osorio on the show just the episode previous to this one, and he hasn't left home, right? He's been with Toronto FC for this whole time, and it's different. It's that home feel. You're not far basically from Markham, where you were born, right? And now you're with York United. You got 9 appearances last season, but right now, if I'm not mistaken, now you're the only goalie on the actual roster online anyways. I can't say who's coming to trial or all that. Obviously, that's not released yet. But from what I know, the only one there, and obviously you may have competition, or you will have competition moving forward. What made you get that hometown move? Did York come to you? Did you approach them? And second to that, how does it feel to actually literally almost kind of be right at home, like you're playing in a backyard type of thing?
For sure. To answer your first part, my contract ended at Calgary. They spoke to me and said, listen, we want to offer you something. I just basically told them I'm looking now. I was 2 years a number 2 over there. And if they can't offer me like a number 1 contract, let's just say, then I would love to test free agency and just see what's out there. And I mean, I still have so much respect for Tommy, but we have still a really good relationship, I would say. And the way he handled that was like, no, I completely understand. They felt that I deserved the chance to try to be a number 1 in this league. So they were going to let me explore that. I don't really know 100% what happened behind the scenes, but all I know is Tommy and Angus had a conversation at some point. When that happened, I have no idea. And I think Tommy gave me a good reference, and then Angus reached out to me pretty, early on in the off season. So he was kind of the first call. And then again, logistically, it made sense. I wanted to be a number 1. York was offering me a number 1 contract. And and to come home, it was kind of like a no-brainer. So to come home, it felt awesome. I was really excited. Finally, like you said, I'm from Markham. I'm living in Vaughan right now, but my family, my parents live 30 minutes away. I've never been this close since I was 18 years old. So it's awesome. And just to kind of now share a career that's, been, 6-7 years in the making, really. And now they can like experience day-to-day life with me and those kind of moments. It's awesome. I wouldn't really trade that for the world. And this upcoming season, I'm looking forward to sharing even more of those moments with them, because they obviously played a huge part in my career. And I mean, my dad was involved with local soccer here because I have 3 sisters. He was always our coaches and stuff like that. So for him to see a professional soccer team and stuff like that is also cool. And I want them to experience that and stuff like that.
Absolutely. York last season had the best season in club history thus far, standings wise, of course, and obviously looking to build on that. A lot of turnover, a lot of change, a lot of new young kids coming in, and looks like we've seen that in the CPL year after year after year now. For you guys this year, as a team, what are, I guess the team expectations could be as cliche as, we're going for the championship, we're going for it, but what are the team expectations that of course, and then following to that, your personal expectations for this upcoming 2022 CPL campaign?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we have preseason starts in less than a week now. So that'll be the first time, with the new staff. Like you said, we have Nashi in, and even his new staff that he's bringing in. So club goals and stuff like that. When I think about that, you look to your leaders first, and Nashi's now the head coach and his staff, and obviously working with Angus as well. I think they set the goals of what the club and stuff like that. I'm sure a simple one is to be better than the year previously, but as for achievements and what they want to get done, they're gonna make those goals clear to us, and then it's us as players or as a team, as a club, to do everything we can to achieve those goals. So from a club, I don't know. It's interesting. Do better than next year is the easiest answer to do. We can maybe get into specifics maybe in 2 months' time, when we've had a full preseason under the belt and we're like, hey, let's go for it. Personally, though, I mean, I could speak personally on myself. I want to be a consistent starter for the club. I want to be a consistent presence. However many games the club plays this year, it is my personal goal to play in every single one of those games. That's what I want. That's how I've done my business in Australia. In college, I didn't take any days off. We played 20 games in 2 months, or 3 months in college, and same thing in Australia, 30 something games a season. Like, I don't really want to take a night off. So that's my personal goal, to play every single game for York United this season. And then if that, hopefully have a few good games, and see where my career can go from there. But the main thing is getting games and having that opportunity, and then it's up to me if how well I do, and where I can take this whole thing.
So 2 months down the line, then you got to come back on. We got to do an Instagram live episode to tell me then the club expectations.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure at that point, Nashi and Angus will I've already told the media and everything like that. But if they haven't, I'll spill the tea. No problem.
I don't know. I won't let you do that. I won't let you spill the tea. Get me in trouble. I won't let you do that. No.
You'll get me more in trouble than you get more in trouble.
Exactly. No, we won't let that happen. Listen, Niko, you have, we're almost about done here, but you're used to this, and because you have your own podcast and the Last Line podcast, so you're getting into it, and you know this drill, and you know how to get it done. So I appreciate you coming on. But talk about that a little bit. How did that happen? I looked at a few episodes, looked at a few of the social media stuff. How did that come about?
Yeah, that's all part of the club. Again, I don't know what conversations were had behind the scenes and stuff like that, but anyone that kind of knows me, first of all, knows that I'm interested in the sports media space. It's something that I've always had, a passion for. And then being in the game, I kind of, you get more opportunities to be around it, and you realize that, you're interested in that kind of thing. I believe I mentioned that to Angus in our talks that we had. We had a few, good conversations with them, more just getting to know, each other and stuff like that. So I mentioned that to them. But then really it came up from when I signed with the club, maybe a few months in 2021. Owen O'Callaghan, he works on the media team here, and he just reached out to me if I would be interested in starting a podcast. I don't know. He coursed me into a question. He said, he sent me a text, and he said, like, if you could speak to any goalkeeper ever, like, who would you want to speak to? Like, that's how he worded the question. And I'm like, Iker Casillas, I guess. Like, that's who I looked up to. Like, not even thinking like that probably doesn't speak English and stuff like that, but I would want to talk to Iker Casillas because that's who made me fall in love with goalkeeping. Like, I watched his highlights and stuff like that. So that'd be a cool guy to talk to. He's obviously had a bunch of success. And then the next text was like, okay, here's my thought. I'm thinking that we start a goalkeeper, podcast. Like, would you be interested? And then that's kind of, we then started digging more into it. I'm like, yeah, of course, I would love to try it. We got, I believe, 8 episodes done or 7 episodes done in season 1. It was a cool way for me to learn more about how podcasts work. And now, in this new year, 2022, we're going to come out with new interviews. We're starting to plan some stuff. And it's definitely something I want to continue pushing. I want to take it, treat it a lot more like a project. And I've seen how season 1 went, and I want to be more involved in it and see how much we can grow it. Because in our first season, we found that there was an audience for us. Some people were enjoying it, and now it's up to us to make the podcast better, continue getting good guests, me improving as a podcast host. I'm seeing how you do it. You got a good voice for it, and you're very excitable. I got to work on that. People say I'm sometimes a bit too monotone.
It's the passion, buddy. It's the passion.
Exactly.
Buddy.
That's the thing. I got the passion for the podcast game. So I'm really looking forward to what we get done in season 2. The guests that we're trying to line up are really exciting. And I'm just excited to start talking to them. And again, we've had great conversations so far, and season 2 is going to be even better, and with bigger and better guests as well, and a better podcast host in myself. And hopefully we can start doing interviews in person, which would, I know, make it a lot easier for me, because I'm a people person. You put a person in front of me, I feel like I could talk to them all the time, and naturally conversations are better. I felt like the whole Zoom aspect makes it a bit more difficult at times, because I need to feel the person's energy, and that conversation flows better.
So the main focus, though, is professional. Is it professional goalkeepers, male or female, or amateur and stuff like that? What was the the main focus of it?
So that was part of the project that made it so interesting for me. We wanted to select high profile goalkeepers, high profile professional goalkeepers. So, I mean, you see the people that we've had, because I've seen other goalkeeper podcasts been done, and they were just getting like their friends, and those guys have great stories, but it's like, how are we going to be different? But the fact that we were getting people like, hey, we want to interview, Stephanie Labin, Olympic gold medalist. At the time, she was on the women's national
I like
team.
to have her on this show too.
Yeah, exactly. And then she came on that. So it's like, wow, Erin McLeod. Those are 2 top female goalkeepers, and also players that I knew. Like, I'm not a huge soccer buff, but the fact that I knew their stories, I'm like, they're high profile. They've had such impressive careers. So you get on athletes like that. Then we have Shaka Hislop, who's played at the highest level in the Prem, but he has a really interesting story, because he was playing back in, I might be wrong, but maybe like the 80s, late 80s, 90s, around that time. So he was dealing with racism. He was from Trinidad and Tobago. So he had this crazy, interesting story like that. And Owen, the producer here, again, he's such a soccer guy. You can tell he loves the game and stuff like that. But he's bringing on these high profile guests, and I might not know their full stories. I know their names, And then as he started explaining their stories more and more, I'm like, yeah, like there's something there. The conversations we could have, the stuff I just want to talk to them about was really interesting. So that's what made it different, and that's what got me also excited for it.
How much pull do you have? You think you can help me get Stephanie Labbe on my show or what?
How much pull do I have getting Stephanie Labbe? I mean, I want to take credit for that one. Owen didn't get me that one. I got that one.
There you go.
Me and Steph were like this. Who knows? She's an extremely busy girl. I think we got her right at the time before she really. I mean, she was a big name at that time. But now with the gold medal, everything, she just announced her retirement. Congratulations, Steph. Super proud of everything you've accomplished. If you see this clip, but yeah,
I'll cut it out. I'll cut it out and I'll tag her. I'll cut it out and I'll tag her.
That'd be great. But no, we caught her at the right time. Now it's that she's probably charging by the hour to get on a podcast.
No, that's all good. Listen, hey, if you need any help down the line, if you have people in line already for your podcast, but need any help, I've talked to a few pretty big names in the soccer world as well, and I've been around. So hey, we have contact now, and we'll see.
Can you reach out? Any goalkeepers that you've had?
Goalkeepers right now, no, but I've had connections with other players. I mean, I've had Lucas Cavallini, To St. Ricketts, Jonathan Osorio, Richie Larea, all on the show, and obviously they know their goalkeepers, right? So it's down the line on where I'll be. I just my show about what it is about. I've started back in COVID last a couple of years ago, and it's all about just building a brand, but also talking to people that have different types of experiences and roots and life. And as you can see on the shirts, hockey, soccer, basketball, all together. And I've had a lot, a loyal, nothing's exploded yet, but you know what? Everything explodes in due time. And as long as you have loyal people behind you and followers and support and family and all that, and I try to make it as big as possible. And I'll talk to a youth program that has affiliation with Toronto and Croatia, and I'll talk to yourself, and I'll talk to maybe the announcer of the Toronto Raptors, and all of that is what I want to get, all the information that I can learn, and also, some high profile professional guests as well that can just make everything better, right? So that's what I'm about, and just trying to build myself, because I'm a semi-pro hockey play-by-play broadcaster now. I just want to get to the next level. I've done play-by-play in League One Ontario as well, and I know the market, I know the people, right? So it's just about growing, getting better, and getting goalkeepers on my show as well, right? Because I've been a goalkeeper almost my whole life, let's just say, right? And I played at the semi-pro level, of course. So that's why I said, if you need any help down the line, or I'm in the podcast world. This is my life. Sports media is my life. Radio, journalism, TV, broadcasting. So that's why I wanted to bring it up.
Did you go to Ryerson?
Went to Humber College, graduated in media foundations, then radio and TV broadcasting. So
I looked at that program.
Yeah, honestly, it's a brilliant program. A lot of successful people. Believe it or not, don't get fooled into, I guess, the university landscape, because a lot of
you don't have to tell me that. When I was looking at the things, because the other option was police officer. So I was like, you know what? The Durham College had like a 2-year police academy. So when I was looking at the things, I was more looking at, I'm like, I don't want to be in school for 4 years. Like, just give me something for 2 years and I could do it once I'm out there. Exactly. So I 100% agree. That's why I looked at the,
a lot of people come out of college, more, believe it or not, more successful than university, and especially broadcasting. Yeah, you got connections, maybe a little bit more in university, and you may have the station's affiliation, but Humber College was a really good stepping stone and led me to my play-by-play jobs in hockey and soccer, and now just doing this and learning how to even do a podcast. I do everything on my own, social media, all production, all editing, this everything on my own. And it's a lot, don't get paid for it, but you love doing it. You love doing it. It's passion. I got merchandise out. So that's all that it is. So that's why I wanted to bring that up. Listen, Niko, I appreciate your time. I know the season is upon us, and I'm excited. I'm excited to watch you. I'm excited to watch the CPL again. I've been to a few Forge games. I knew a few Forge guys, Chris Nankel and Kwame Aua there. And I know a few York guys, I guess yourself now, but Max Ferrari and Anthony Totera within.
You coming to the games?
United. I'll come. I'll be coming.
when you're there, get my attention.
I'll shoot you a text. If I'm coming before, I'll reach out and we'll talk beforehand or something like that. And we'll shoot it up. I appreciate, because you're pro, but you're a year apart from me, but a lot of pro guys sometimes don't give a guy like myself a chance to, be that kind and reach out and stuff like that. So I appreciate the kindness. I appreciate the respect, and I'm sure we'll chat down the line, of course, but I just want to say thanks for coming on.
No, of course. We're trying to grow this league as well. Like, we know how valuable local podcasts like you guys are. And I think every CPL player should kind of have that mindset. It's kind of our responsibility to continue to grow the brand of this league, whether it's for the league or for your local club. So doing podcasts, interviews, all this stuff, I think it's our obligation as players and stuff like that, but it's also very important. So you don't have to thank me, no problem at all. Happy to be on. This was fun. I enjoy these things.
Absolutely. A lot of people say no. All right, Niko. A lot of people still say no. So I just
I don't know. Maybe I just got to get more busy. I just feel like I could just talk to someone. I mean, we've been COVID for 2 years, so social interaction has been down in whatever sense. So I don't know. Seems like an easy yes.
Well, you know what? I try to make my stuff, my interviews and stuff, relatable and fun, and I've known you for 10 years now, type of thing down the line. So hope you had a good time. Appreciate you coming on. Listen, everyone, this was episode number 51. I can't believe it already. And Footy edition number 12 of Mamma Mia. This is Fire Talk. Visit www.mamamia. This is Fire Talk for everything you want to know about the show. Also, merchandise, hats, hoodies, long sleeves, and t-shirts for sale. A lot of people have been buying it. I have limited, believe it or not, limited stock left until I put a new order in. You can follow us everywhere: YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen and view your sports podcast. Listen, everyone, thank you once again. This was sponsored by The Bottom Line Restaurant and Bar, downtown Toronto, 2200 Front Street. Hockey Hall of Fame, official restaurant of the Hockey Hall of Fame. I'm Nicholas Fiore, the host of the show. This is Niko Giantsopoulos, York United FC, #1 goalkeeper for the Canadian Premier League CPL. Stay safe out there, everyone, and Mamma Mia.
Unbelievable.
Lopez turns it over, and now Cavallini with it. Cavallini finds Baker. Albanese comes out. Baker gets to it first, around the keeper, and in the back of the net. Blows the whistle, the captain, Dylan Carrero, for Woodbridge. The penalty kick. Steps up and takes it neatly so, with a great, brilliant penalty kick strike into the corner. The ref blows the whistle. Whiteman steps forward, looking, and right down the middle with the strike there, and the penalty kick in the 19th minute. Anything coming, now a chance for Jason Mills. He comes in, the shot on goal, off the woodwork again, the rebound comes out, to Mills again, shot scores! Oh my word, number 11 with the finish, and that's Brandon Mills. Oakville looking to play long instead of building up. It's going to favor them off the second ball. A chance for the Blue Devils. Can they get anything on goal? Goes back outside looking for the offside call. It's not. Now cross back in, back door, it's a goal! And the Blue Devils are on the door first. Push back with good defensive play from North Mississauga, and they steal it and now look at the counter. Can the Panthers go? It's 4v4. Good pace. Botello plays on the far side. They stay on side. North Miss an opportunity. They come on the break with a shot. In the back of the net it goes, and North Miss have one back. Continues with a North Mississauga free kick in midfield. An opportunity here. Shot comes in the back of the net it goes. Oh my word, what a strike. Now back, kicked up in the air. One with the header. Placed down. McNamara has the opportunity. And in the back of the net it goes. Corner kick now for Oakville. It's a dangerous one. And in the back of the net again. And it's McNamara.
That was Mamma Mia. This is Fire Talk Footy Edition with Nicholas Fiore. Thank you for watching and listening, and stay tuned for the next episode.